Welcome to Kill the Market. This is going to be our weekly look ahead at the week coming up for August 17th through the 21st. I try not to pre-plan how this is going to go. I go through my charts, I change my weekly pivots, and then that's about it. And then we kind of discover stuff on our own here. And now we are going to look at some charts. So we'll start with Apple here. Again, a lot of chop inside this zone. You can see between 315 and 300, you're going to get a lot of chop. We had some previously here, did it again here, and now we're kind of stuck. So we'll look again. We really need to get above this 315 level, somewhere around there, to get that push into the gap. Could definitely see it just as easily coming back down and test this trend line somewhere around 294. So these kind of setups, just wait it out. There's no need to try and guess where this is going to go. Let it tell us, and then we will trade. But for now, Apple's on hold. AMD looking really good here. You can see we had this kind of downtrend. We're back here testing this upper trend line. Really need to get a push out of there to get going. It kind of reminds me of the Q setup that we had. Very similar, but we need that breakout. We also have to worry about this. So even if we do get that breakout, be careful around this 340 level. We could see a rejection there for false breakout, but just something to look for. We're going to go 522.84 to that 540 should we get the breakout, and then see what happens. Amazon here, been selling off. We kind of noted this, talked about in previous videos here. We had this previous high, and you can just see we never got that close above that high minus this one day, which then gapped down. So we were bearish on this. We've been bearish on this. No strength here at the highs. That means we're coming back down. How low? It'll be interesting when we test this gap next week, see what happens there. Could find support there, but the way it's looking, looks like it wants to come test some other levels. Could easily see 255, if not more. Then we have 249.50 below there. Google, again, just chopping here. Kind of anything above this 341.20 level. I'm not ready to short it yet. See how there's 4 pretty strong red days. Not a ton of volume, but definitely all selling. But again, the price isn't moving. So someone is absorbing those, all the selling that's happening. So let's look for a test of that 341 somewhere around there, and then maybe a push back up to the upside. If we get a close below there, we could definitely then look to push down more. Hood. We had this nice strong uptrend, maxed out here, that 118-ish level. Again, it's kind of like Amazon, right? When you're looking at some of these levels, if you cannot close above that level, that is a sign of weakness. I don't care how high the price is. So it failed there, came back down, and it's kind of stuck underneath this trend line I have here, trying to get back in the channel. We did have that close above, but it sold right back down. Undecided price action, right? They're trying to figure it out. They're battling it here. Right now, this is a bearish sign to me. We had that retest, and now it's looking to push back down. Intel had this push here, kind of getting weaker up here versus the other semis. It's not very strong. That 108 level has been a pretty good support resistance. So that would be a level I'd look to. We need to push more to the upside. However, inside day on Friday, we have this gap to fill. I could see that happening and maybe push down towards this other gap. Real quick, we can just throw a trend line on this. And then we'll keep an eye, see what happens tomorrow. Should we test that or should we break it? Not necessarily bearish on this one, but if we had a nice day, we get some closes below some of these levels, that 100 is a big psych level, we could see more downside. Meta's a mess, and we're just choppy. Again, a lot of these are just in these zones where you're just chopping around these price levels. So Again, you don't want to get caught in here. Let this thing figure itself out. And then when it does break those levels, we'll have a better idea how to play it. Microsoft, this one's interesting to me. I like this setup. Double inside day here, Thursday, Friday, inside days, up at these levels, 513.73. You can kind of see how it did act as a support resistance level back here. That held, price pushed back down. Now, this level here, 489, 490, it was a big resistance back here back in December. It's going to retest that, see if they can turn that into support. That's going to be where I get a little more interested in this. But we could see a quick push to the downside to close all these out, stop all these previous daily candles. So, you could easily see 485 here. Should we get that break and get it going? Again, wait, we'll see what happens around 490, 489, 490. But a lot to the downside here. We need support here to get a big push up. Volume's been really low. MU breaking out, right? Not bad. Definitely a bullish chart, kind of held this uptrend line. Now we'll see how much further it can go. We got to get over 1,000. I got 1,011.77, and it could quickly push to that, 1,130-ish level. And then, who knows past that. It's been pretty strong, staying strong, not really selling off too much. Even the red days are just super tight. So looking good there. Netflix, we had this 78.19 level. We closed at 78.16. As long as we're closing below that level, I think this might be near the top of this push. You can see it was resistance these previous times here in June and then again in July. Now we're retesting. We really need that push, but volume's been low. So nobody's super excited about what's happening. 78.19, that's a level to watch. NVDA, it's been super strong here. Kind of pushed out of this chop zone just to come retest the breakout. So that 225 level, I got 224.87 is going to be big to see where we push from here. We could retrace even more. If we enter this area, again, you don't have to trade it. It's going to be messy. So wait to see if we can hold 225, and then that would give us more upside. PLTR, just a monster move here, continued to go. Again, another one in chop because all the volume has been very low. That's going to give you this chop. I'm still bullish on this one. This should push higher. I'd like to see this. Let's see if we can find something. This is quite a few hits on this level here. This was the high of the first breakout candle, 164.52. You can see it's getting touches back here. So I would like a retest there. I'd really love to get in that to push for a swing play there. If we hold here and keep pushing, I could definitely see another breakout here pushing up somewhere around this 188, 190 level. PayPal is pretty much the same thing. Same thing with PLTR. Had just nice push and just keeps going, breaking all the levels that I had. I'll have to find more, but yeah, this one, no stopping this one. You can see that volume increasing. Nice look on PayPal. QQQ. So again, this one, if you've been following us, we called this breakout perfectly on X. You can see here, we had the retest, we had the bounce. That's what we were looking for. Came through. Even the red days, again, price isn't really moving lower. It's just chopped or, stays in the same spot. 731 needs to hold. Then we could definitely see we got 734 on the weekly, push above there. Bullish, it's been moving, so we'll stick with the bullish there. SPCX, it's kind of interesting. Again, this is one everybody on X was saying this thing's gonna die. Everyone's gonna sell their shares. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Don't listen to people. Follow the price action. We had that double bottom here. Nice push ever since. Um, it'll come back down at some point. How far, who knows? But this is one that's just gonna keep going. SPY. So you can see we had this push. This is our trend line I'm kind of watching here to see where I would start to get worried. Inside day here after the breakout, right? We had all this chop, really nice breakout, price held, even though it's red on, it's an inside day. We're looking for, I would love to see a retest at 775 and before we push higher. I think we could reach somewhere up here, 785, pretty quick, actually. But we got to hold this breakout, right? This 775, that's going to be the key level for the breakout, see if it holds and can keep going. Tesla is interesting to me. We had this breakdown, broke down for my trend line, kind of was struggling for a little bit, had that big day, and now price held, even though on a red day, we held above this 340 level. We're going to need to hold that to continue to push through this gap. If not, we could definitely see a false breakout. Right, so we broke out here, breaking up. It's got to hold that, or we could just come right back down. So far, everything pretty strong. But look at that. I mean, just volume everywhere is nothing. So that will definitely come in to decide the overall market. There's a lot of questionable things happening out there, but with price action, you can block all of that out and just trade what's actually happening versus what you think is happening. All right, that's it for this week. That's what we got. Thanks for listening. This is Kill the Market. Please like and subscribe, share, do all that stuff. We're trying to get as many people as we can to jump on board so we can help you guys, find your way through this market. It's not easy. It'd be much easier if we did it together. All right, we'll see you next week.